Thanks for checking in. So are you looking at buying a new Tesla right now in Canada? Well, here's some information that you might want to know and why now might actually be the best time to buy a new Tesla. So let's check it out. All right, first of all, what are you getting when you order a new Model 3 or a new Model Y in Canada right now in the end of October 2023? Well, your cars are still actually being made from China and being shipped over to North America. The reason for this is because of the tax credits in the United States. They're saving all the vehicles that they produce there for their own country, because up until the end of this year, they're getting up to $7,500 back on a rebate. That's pretty good. Here in Canada, what you're getting is a vehicle that has actually higher quality standards versus the California built cars. Now that's open to a slight interpretation, but overall, when you do a quality check of your panel gaps, your alignment, all these types of things on a vehicle coming from Shanghai, the overall consensus is you are getting a perfect vehicle, come paint, come quality, and you're going to be very happy with that. Now, your battery rating, and in fact how far it will go, how many kilometers, is going to be less than the California cars. Why is that? Well, for one, they actually have different batteries than the vehicles in California. Is this a bad thing? No, and I'll explain why. The ones coming out of Shanghai, your long-range Model 3 and Model Y, have a battery that's made from LG Chem, and it's about a 79 kilowatt-hour battery, versus the ones being made in Fremont, Model 3 and Model Y long-range, are still a Panasonic-made battery that has about 3 or 4 kilowatt-hour more. And so that's the difference in range. There are both a 2170 cell that refers to the actual size of how many, there's like 4,000 of these little batteries in your battery pack in the floor. And so that's the reason for the decrease. Now, I'm talking to you from a 2022 Model Y that's a Fremont made, and this is the 7-seater version, and it went 525 kilometers rating new, and after almost 2 years, I am down to a full charge at 505. I didn't do the exact math. I think it's around 3.5%. So you know what? It's pretty close to what you're getting from the Shanghai built vehicles right now. So after about a year, you want to expect maybe a 3%. 3 to 5% anyway. After that, your degradation is actually going to be a lot slower, maybe about 1% per year after that. So there's the difference in your range. Does it make a difference? Not really. And why is that? Because in your daily travel, Tesla's recently updated how much you want to charge your daily battery to, and that's 80%. So let's look at it. You buy a long-range Model Y at 80% in Canada, it's rated at 497 kilometers. Now, look at the standard range Model Y, it's rated at 394 kilometers. Well, if you take that long range and your daily percentage of 80%, you're actually down to 397, a difference of only 3 kilometers versus the standard range. Now you say, why wouldn't I do the same thing to my standard range and charge it only to 80%? Well, that's a different battery chemistry. It's made with a lithium iron battery pack, and because of that iron content, the batteries can be charged to 100% daily, and that's okay. So you're actually, whether you order the rear-wheel drive Model Y or the long range, your daily drive rate is going to be about the same, close to that 400 kilometer mark. Now, the same is true for the Model 3 as well, if that's what you're looking at. The standard range is also the lithium iron pack that can be charged to 100% daily, versus the long range where Tesla recommends only 80% on your daily drive. So if you live in a part of Canada that you don't get that much snow, I know that's maybe not a lot, you might want to look at the standard range Model 3 or Model Y. These vehicles with a good set of snow tires actually have a lot better handling than any rear-wheel gas car of the past, and that's because of the digital control of your traction control, even on a rear-wheel drive car. Now, why is now maybe a good time to buy versus waiting? If you're looking at that refreshed Model 3, you might think, well, that's going to get better range and be a way better car overall. But the latest review from Motor Trend in North America actually got the same exact range on their range test as the current Model 3. So your range, they use the same battery and same motor, as well as if you haven't been in a Tesla or an EV before, it's going to be a big change because you're not going to have any stocks. That's for your blinkers, as well as selecting your gear when you are adjusting to that vehicle. So not only do they have less buttons, but you're going to have to get used to a whole new driving style with no stocks. So you actually might want to try to gobble up one of these last Model 3s and Model Ys coming out. Right now, the Model 3 refresh, they call it Highland. Not anymore. In Asia, they call it the Model 3 Plus, is projected to come to North America in Q1 of 2024. We don't have an exact date yet, but it will be coming next year at some point. So the updated, refreshed car is one reason you might want to actually get the current version, because they drive the same amount of distance and you're going to have to get used to a stockless vehicle. The other reason is the current ones are discounted right now if you can find an inventory vehicle, or just on Tesla's website, they've made them the cheapest ever that you can get them in Canada. Let's look at the Model Y. It's on for $67,900, but you are eligible across Canada for a $5,000 government tax credit, and that's at the point of sale. That brings you down to $62,900. That's for a long range. You're saying that's a lot of money. Well, the average cost of a brand new vehicle in Canada in June 2023 is $66,000. So this is actually now putting the Model Y under your average cost of a vehicle in Canada. If you think you can handle the standard range and want to try it out, it's $10,000 cheaper than that. $57,900 minus the $5,000 credit, you're looking at $52,900, plus any local incentives, or if you live in BC, Quebec, you're getting actually more on top of that. So now is a good time to buy. The prices in Canada have never been that cheap. If you do decide, I'm going to throw up my referral code, and actually both you and I will benefit from that. So if you want to go that route, I'm happy to answer any questions and help you on your journey as you switch over to electric. Now, the Model S and X are also the cheapest they've ever been. Model S starts at 99,000 Canadian, and that includes any color that you can select. They don't charge any extra on that right now, so that you can stay under the luxury tax credit in Canada. If you buy a vehicle over $100,000, you have to pay an additional tax for the difference of that you go over the $100,000. So that's a great price for a vehicle with 652 kilometers of range rated when it's new. So hopefully that gives you another perspective on what you're getting when you order a vehicle, why we're getting different ones in Canada still versus what you can order in the States, at least when it comes to the Model 3 and Y, and helps you if you're on the fence about purchasing now or waiting. If you're waiting for a redesigned Model Y, it's looking like maybe the end of next year, so over 12 months before they'll refresh that one. Code name for that was Juniper. Now it looks like they want to update that so that there's not too many leaks like they had with the Highland refresh. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll look for you in the next one. Thanks.